All right, and we're going to start with the first question. So this is for the interns. I'm going to ask you all to share your name, your pronouns, and your year up tech track. Talk a little bit about your internship site, your specific title or role, and then also your internship job duties or the functions, the things that you do most often at your internship. All right.
Do the same order?
Sure. So the order we were going with last time was Nick, and then we'll have Raylene go, and then George, and then B.
Okay. I'm Nick Hernandez. I am in the IT track for Silicon Valley. I'm placed at Stanford Law School. I am an IT support analyst, and I work directly underneath the Chief Information Officer and the Director of Tech at the law school. Some job duties and functions of mine is basically to support the faculty, staff, and students in the law school with any of their tech needs. We support the higher end faculty too, with the chief information officer and the provost and even the dean of the law school. So I'd work directly with the higher ups and with basically everybody inside the law school, and just making sure that anything they need is supported, whether it's at home or in the school. We make sure we get it done.
Nice. All right. My name is Raylene Esparza. I was in the data analytics track. My internship site is PayPal, and my title right now is data analyst / business operations intern. My duties vary. Basically, I'm like a database administrator right now, but we're like heavily into IT, so that's what we're maintaining, like the ticketing system there. I work with Power BI, Excel, ServiceNow. It just varies on like the tasks they give us, but I do a lot of like data cleaning and data accuracy.
So my name is George Ramos, or Jorge. I was in the PM track, and my current internship site is LinkedIn. Specifically, my team is customer experience operations. So essentially what we do is that we make sure that the experience that you have as a user on our platform, on the LinkedIn's platform, is cohesive with the company's core competencies. So I guess my main duties are around like the current project that we're working on. So right now is working on like account takeover experience. Go into detail later.
Hey everyone, my name is Brishana, but I also go by B. So over at Year Up, I was in the project management track. My internship site is Facebook, and then the title that I have over at Facebook is a technical program manager. And what that pretty much is I'm working with the backbone team for reliability. So pretty much what that means in like short and version is like when you grab your phone to go on Facebook or like Messenger, and you want to look up like a certain video on YouTube or things like that sort, the data gets pulled from a circuit. And so that's what the team I'm on, we help to make sure that the users are getting that data that they're requesting in like a timely manner.
All right, great. And class 24, I highly recommend that you take notes during this. This will be beneficial. All right, next question. Were you placed in your first choice track? And answer that. And then was the track overall what you expected?
So no, I wasn't placed in the first track that I was applying for or I requested. I asked for PM. I wanted to be a project manager based upon what the job titling entailed. But just when things would break around the office, I would be there to help fix them. And that's what led me to going into IT. A lot of the staff and the faculty saw I had a passion and I was really had a knack for IT. So they decided to place me there, which I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but trust the process. That is definitely true. I love what I am doing in IT. It's what I expected, to the extent that I wish I was doing a little more, but it's what I expected in IT work. So yeah.
So I was placed in my first choice, which was data. I work like, I don't want to say I worked hard to get there, but like I made it known that I really wanted to be in data, and I went out of my way to take like extra steps. Like I did a coding class after program with Ismail. But yeah, I really vouched for myself to be in there. It is pretty much what I expected, and it was kind of hard.
So like I said, I was at the PM track. It was my first choice, although going through the first couple weeks before you choose your track or where you're placed in your track, I didn't feel very confident that I was going to get in, specifically because it revolves a lot around public speaking and how you present yourself as a professional. And I didn't think I was doing too hot. I was always very nervous when I was speaking in front of the class or anything along that line. And so yeah, but luckily they saw something in me that said PM, so I got placed there, and it was exactly what I expected. A lot of public speaking, a lot of fine tuning of communicating with your team and others, and yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so for me, I went into Europe knowing that I wanted to be in the project management track. So yeah, it was my first pick and I did get my first choice. A little bit like Raylene said, she did work for it. I pretty much made it known. When I started Europe, I would like volunteer to like host something or to like take charge of something or to help out in any way. And I really got to know the staff. So yeah, I pretty much advocated for myself to like get what I kind of wanted. Not saying that I wouldn't have been happy with any of the other tracks. It was just something that I know my personality was a good fit for. So yeah, it was everything that I expected. I'm still learning. I think project management is always going to change because it's dealing with people and people always change. So yeah.
All right, great. All right, next question. What did Europe prepare you for at your internship, and what weren't you prepared for?
I felt like Europe prepared me fairly well for this internship. A lot of the key things that you're going to learn are going to come from BC, which was Alyssa's teaching. I would recommend to just study as much as you can possibly can. Self-learning is going to be key in this process, no matter whether it's in this stage or into internship. The more you can get comfortable with learning on your own and being advantageous is going to benefit you in the long run. Be a professional or be able to know what you're in, your track that you get placed, but always be hungry for more, looking for more.
I want to say that Europe did prepare me pretty well for my internship, especially Alyssa with her jargon and all the weekly vocab. Like as much as I didn't want to do it, it pops up like quite a lot. And I'm glad that I know what they're talking about instead of saying like, oh, what does that mean? Also just kind of networking and like what Nick said, you're only going to like really touch the surface of everything there. What I do, like one of the programs I work with, I was glad that, I worked with SQL because I'm working with another database and like it's super similar. So I was like, okay, like I kind of know what these tables are and I know what this is. So I was really thankful for that. Something I wasn't prepared for was the culture. It was like nowhere near what I was expecting. And it was a little bit hard to adjust to it. But then like as you're there, like you kind of learn like what's the norms, and it got a little bit easier after that.
So it's a pretty common theme amongst interns that the BC class, Alyssa's class, is very, very helpful in your internship because communicating it's a skill that goes across all work paths. Being able to communicate your thoughts and to communicate with others is really important. So that prepared me really well. A lot of these people in these companies use some pretty like weird jargon or really weird like they just speak in a different way that sometimes is like they take the long way around to what they want to say, which can make things a little intimidating and hard to understand. But yeah, Alyssa's class helped a lot with that, especially in my role, which is a very very traditional PM role. And Yeah, so that was great. And what I wasn't prepared for was overall, Europe can only prepare you so much for your internship role. So, like they were saying, it kind of gives you like the bare, like a solid foundation to what you need to be successful later. So, I'm building on top of that foundation is going to be up to you. Um, but yeah, learn what you can and learn the rest later.
Yeah, I think for me, Europe prepared me in terms of like building my professional brand. Um, I don't know if a lot of you have experience like being in the tech field already. So that is where it kind of gives you that advantage that a lot of people may not have had. They set you up just how to carry yourself, how to communicate properly, whether it's like over email or just face to face in person. They give you a lot of tips. I think overall, Europe really did prepare me and give me like a confidence level to take on the role over at Facebook. But again, like George said, I don't think that Europe could prepare you 100% for any of your roles because you're all going to be placed at internships and they're all going to be different. And so everything there, once you get there, you'll learn like how to deal with how people work there or just communicating and just like little things that they won't be able to teach you because they don't know being there. But yeah, overall Europe definitely gave me like confidence. I was going into my internship, I feel like I was definitely prepared to go in.
Awesome. Okay, we got one more question here. So how have your teams managed collaborating virtually during this coronavirus crisis? And if you want to give a little bit more background, how was the beginning of your internship where you were working at site in comparison to how you are doing now working from home?
Yeah. So with us at Stanford, we have the pleasure of working with Zoom prior to this all happening. So we were all pretty well versed, at least within the team, on how to use Zoom, just because one, we're in IT, and two, like I said, we use it as a platform to communicate a lot at Stanford, specifically at the law school. I would say now that everything is virtual, it's a little different because we had to go and train everybody to make sure that all the faculty knew how to use Zoom. So there was a lot of emails, a lot of FaceTime calls, a lot of Zoom calls to make sure everybody was comfortable using the product and making sure they had any questions and we can answer them. So it was an interesting switch, but I think it was smoother here at Stanford than it was at a lot of other places. And I think that I was fortunate that happened.
So a lot of my team meetings are virtual anyways, even if we're all in the office. I don't know why they were always virtual. But about a third of my team was remote. So I was used to doing meetings. We use Teams instead of Zoom. I like Zoom better, but that's their preference. And just we send a lot of emails too. So, I mean, really focus on that when, I don't know if you guys already covered or if y'all already covered it, but like I send like more than 20 emails a day and I have to reply to everybody and be on top of it and make sure it sounds better because I'm talking to very higher up people and stakeholders sometimes. So that's something that it's not that hard right now because I was doing it before we had to work from home, but now I don't have some in case I need to ask a question.
So like Nick said, some teams were pretty prepared or used to working virtually. So that was great. But my team was in the opposite end. We were kind of a hot mess. A lot of the work that we do is very in person. There's a lot of in-person workshops that we do where we're meeting with people constantly. Communicating with them in person is always easier, at least in my opinion. So transitioning over to virtual meetings was pretty difficult. In the project that I'm working on right now, we were gonna do like a workshop that had over 35 people in it. So trying to figure out how to move that all virtually is something my manager, who has over 10 years of experience, and my team has never done before. So trying to troubleshoot that and kind of find the pain points and work around how we can be productive virtually was kind of a challenge, but it was kind of fun also, and we felt a little disconnected for the first couple of weeks because we weren't used to it. But pinging people, sending emails, and just having casual meetings, just kind of reconnect is super vital. That's how my team managed to, you know, reconnect and get closer again instead of, you know, getting lost in your house or you know, just being unproductive. But yeah.
So my experience with the whole work from home process was a little rough at first. So I think this last week I was a month already on work from home. So I was already kind of before everyone. Facebook told everyone to work from home. So it was kind of hard for me to adjust at first. Honestly, I was in like a funk where like I just didn't really want to do it, and I was just like, oh, I don't want to do anything. But I had to like, you know, change my mindset and like get back on like a routine with myself. So now every day, like I'm on a real tight routine. I wake up, I do my emails, I check in, I have one-on-ones with all my team, I get ready. So at first it was really hard, but because I'm the person, my role is I have to push everyone else to do the tasks that they're supposed to do. So I have to designate that. So for me, it's like I can't like not do what I'm supposed to do. So it was just like, okay, changing my mindset and then like becoming familiar. So now I'm like comfortable with the routine. It's been really better for me and my teams. We talk pretty much every day. It doesn't have to be long, but we talk every day. So yeah, it's been good. It was hard to adjust, but I've gotten really better at it. Comfortable, I guess.
All right. Awesome. Okay, so that was it for my questions, and now I'll open the floor if any of the class 24 has any questions. Feel free to come off of mute and start with your name.
I got a question. I'll start off first. Okay, so can I ask for specifically, like to people?
Sure.
Yeah, do you think?
All right, for sure. So this goes for B and Jorge. So what kind of students were you guys for the project management? Because I'm pretty interested in being a project management as well.
Oh, are you asking more along the lines of what we did, or?
Yeah, you know, just the characteristics that you guys held during the L&D phase.
Okay, so I can start with that, B. So when you start your PM track, of course, when you think about a project manager, you think of somebody who's communicating a lot, you know, talking in front of people, leading a team. I mean, there's management in the title itself. So, you know, you're managing not only people, but your workload and other people's workload, like B, and sometimes myself. So it's really about, you know, presenting yourself professionally and like I keep saying, communicating effectively. You know, that's pretty much what it boils down to. In class, when you get into your track, if you do get placed in PM, you'll do a lot of public speaking and you'll practice that a lot, you know. So like if you start off a little shaky, like I did, I was pretty nervous. I was kind of a nervous wreck every time I got in front of anybody. So, you know, they kind of teach you they teach you how to communicate, how to, you know, articulate well and, you know, talk to the people, get your point across, and then make them feel like they're heard also. So yeah, do you want to add anything to that, B?
I have
Yeah,
to
I
jump
mean,
in and
first off,
say George
oh, go ahead.
ended up winning 2 separate public
I was just
speaking.
gonna say that, Alyssa. I was just gonna say, okay, yeah, George was like super shaky and super shy all the time at first, and he's like grown tremendously to be like a really good speaker, like in general. And yeah, he wins everything. So it's like, but yeah,
You can't see it yet right now, but my legs are shaking. So.
Oh my God. But just to like add on to that, I mean, yeah, being a good project man, and I think the characteristics that carry, you don't have to always be the most outspoken in the room. You don't always have to be the loudest. You can be calm and get your point across to a team effectively. For me, it was just I mean, I'm pretty vocal in general as a person outside of Europe. So I have no problem with that. And I kind of like tend to like, if no one wants to do it, okay, I'll do it. And I don't have a problem with that. But I think just for your most part right now, like if you want PM, I would just say, or for any of you all that want whatever track it is, just try to advocate. So try to talk to staff and be like, hey, this is what I'm interested in. I did some research and these are the areas why I feel like I would fit to this role. And I mean, I think that's your best bet, because going into year up, I did my research on project management. I was like, okay, like this just seems like what I would be a good fit for. And then I just went in and did that. So yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question. This is to any one of you. What was the hardest thing about transitioning from L&D to, or not L&D, just the last mod to internship, and how did you get through that?
I can answer for that one. So I know like we built like a really strong community while we were in L&D. It was a little bit hard leaving all that because like we have so much support. We have people like right by us all the time. Like someone to always answer our questions. And when I got to my internship, it was really different. Thankfully, like I got put on the same team as someone else I was really close to in data. So that worked out for like the better. But there's moments like when we couldn't talk to each other, not talk to each other, but like we were working on like different things where I couldn't ask that person for help. Also, a lot of people got sent to PayPal. So we kind of like stayed like in a little thing like every couple of weeks where we would check in with each other like on a little meeting. Even now that we're all working from home, like every couple of weeks we still do like a little meeting on Teams just to check in like and see how everybody's doing if anybody needs support. So stay in touch. It's one of my recommendations.
Raylene, if the colleague you're talking about is Emmanuel at PayPal? Oh no, well his brother's in the room. Jesus with the green headphones on.
No, it's Sandy, her sister.
Oh, Sandy, okay. Oh yeah, so that's Yesenia. Yesenia's, is it cousin?
That's her sister, right?
Yeah, they look identical. There's no way they're not.
Yeah. Emmanuel's cool too, though. So, but he.
I can add on to that question also. The biggest challenge transitioning from L&D to internship was, like Raylene was touched on, was the support. So throughout internship, throughout L&D, you get your hand held, and I was used to that hand holding. I was used to like Alyssa running up and be like, "Hey, do you need help? Let me help you." Or just any of the staff being super supportive of you. Going into internship, a little background, I'm the first intern of my kind at LinkedIn, so I had little to no support. I had to really like learn on my own, and I didn't really have anyone to like turn back to and be like, "Hey, like I need is this right? Am I approaching this the right way?" Or to give me feedback other than my manager, of course. So learning to be independent and taking my development into my own hands was probably the most difficult transitioning point for me. But that's something that you'll have to face eventually, inside of internship and outside for the rest of your career, like learning how to manage your own development. So yeah.
All right. So before we go on to another question, I'm going to stop the recording and I personally am going to exit the room.